Hey everyone, David Code, the Core Real Estate Group. Hey, today I want to talk about the importance of having your own agent if you're a buyer for a piece of property. Whether it's your very first home or you've done this a million times or you're an investor, you're looking to buy a piece of investment property, it is still really important that you have someone who's advocating for you, not necessarily for the seller, especially in this post-NAR settlement world. So let's jump into it. So the first thing you have to understand is that there are usually two players in a real estate transaction. Number one, you have a listing agent. That's someone who has probably had a relationship with the seller for an extended period of time, which is why they've got the listing. Their main job is to represent the seller and make sure that they sell that property for the most amount of money as possible, all the while advocating for their seller. They were probably hired because they were really good at marketing, presenting a property, maybe covering up some of the flaws of the property. There are all kinds of reasons why a seller might hire a listing agent to represent them, but ultimately they are hired to protect the seller's interest. On the other hand, a buyer's agent is hired to protect a buyer and advocate for a buyer. I'll get hired because I'm really good at helping a client find suitable properties. A buyer's agent will also be really good at negotiating on behalf of a buyer. And if you're negotiating for a buyer in a buyer's market versus a seller's market, it's a different situation to be in, and an experienced buyer's agent can help you figure that out. My job as a buyer's agent is to protect you, the buyer, versus when I'm a listing agent, my job is to protect my seller. That's what we're hired to do. And those are two conflicting places to be as an agent, which is why you need to have your own buyer if you are buying a property. So the power of having your own buyer's agent, well, number one, you're going to get market expertise. You should find someone that's very familiar with the area that you're looking to buy a home in, who has not just knowledge of what's happening in the market right now, but has some historical perspective on that market as well. The ability to know whether a certain property is a good deal, a bad deal, whether it's going to have a lot of interest. And sometimes, who is the listing agent? A lot of times as a buyer's agent, I can leverage my relationship with the listing agent if I happen to have one on behalf of my buyer. And sometimes I can get an offer accepted purely based on the relationship that I have with the listing agent. Sometimes we might even have access to exclusive properties, right? If I'm helping a buyer buy a home and I know specifically what they're looking for, whenever I'm talking to my friends or colleagues that are agents, I'm asking them, do you have something like this coming out? And if so, can I get my client in there before the rest of the world gets a chance to see it? If you are just looking to work directly with a listing agent, you're just naturally forced to wait until that property hits the market. And by then you might know, but everyone else knows about it as well. And you kind of lose that exclusivity. You also get, when you hire your own buyer's agent, a dedicated advocate to your needs, to whatever you're trying to accomplish, to make sure that whatever you are trying to do is purely in your favor and not in the favor of the seller. And then lastly, you get the support of that agent, right? If you are trying to buy a home on your own, or if you're working directly with a listing agent, getting into escrow, quite honestly, is the easy part. Navigating escrow is where the complex problems happen. What happens if you get a really nasty inspection report? What if there's an issue with the fireplace or the sewer, or who knows what else there could be? You kind of want to make sure that when you get in those situations that you've got someone who's absolutely advocating your behalf, and most importantly, will tell you if you should walk away from that deal versus trying to keep you in the deal or keep a deal together. That's one of the main reasons why you want to hire your own agent. So some of the risk, if you go it alone, go directly with the listing agent. Number one, you've got divided loyalty. Whenever, as a listing agent, if I were to represent a buyer, I am in what's called dual agency, right? I am both representing a seller and a buyer. First of all, that's illegal in some states in the, here in this country. It is legal in California to do it, but it puts everyone at a higher risk. In some states, outright ban it. So you want to make sure that you've got someone who is completely loyal to you when you're looking to make the purchase of a home. As a listing agent, I might, if I had a buyer coming to buy, I might think certain things are not as important, right? Maybe there's some local knowledge about a community that isn't necessarily relevant to that particular home, but it might be relevant to that community. If you've got your own agent who's representing on your behalf and they've got that kind of knowledge, they'd be willing to share it with you where a listing agent may not be. You're definitely in a weakened negotiating position if you're in a dual agency situation. At that point, the agent isn't trying to make sure you get as much as what you're asking for. They're just trying to find a solution that that satisfies both the buyer and the seller. And that may not be the best position for you to be in if you're working with the listing agent in dual agency. And then lastly, you have no dedicated support, right? If you don't have relationships with inspectors and lenders and title reps and all the different things that you need to have a successful conclusion to a real estate transaction, this is a really complex, difficult thing to navigate, and you want to leverage an agent who has those relationships. So make the smart choice. If you're looking to buy a house, hire an agent. Find someone, get a reference, call me, right? Make sure you find someone that's got, a strategy for helping you find the right property. I always tell my buyers that I would rather ask them 500 questions and show them one home than the other way around. We've got a process on how we help our buyers navigate buying a home. How they communicate is really important, right? I have a communication style, may not be right for everyone. Well, that'll probably come out as you're negotiating whether or not you want to hire an agent. You want to find someone that you trust, and you want to find someone who's going to be honest with you, but honest with you in a way in which you like to receive information. That's really important. And lastly, check their reviews. Even ask for a couple of referrals. It's okay. This is a big purchase. You should be speaking to as many people as you can to find someone who you're really comfortable with if you're about to make the biggest transaction of your life. So if you're looking to buy a house, do 3 things. Number 1, find an agent, interview someone, find someone you're comfortable with. Number 2, sign a representation agreement. Not only is this important, it's now the law here in California. As an agent, we can't show you properties until we have a signed contract with you that clearly states how much we would get paid and how that gets navigated through the listing and each seller. You want to have all that squared away before you start writing offers. And then number 3, start your home search, which now you've got an advocate who's helping you find the perfect home, not just trying to put a deal together once you raise your hand and say, I want to buy this house. So anyway, I hope that's been very useful and helpful. If you or someone in your tribe is looking to buy a house, please share this video with them, or you can contact me directly. I'd love to see if I'm a good fit to work with them or with you. So thanks so much. I hope this video finds you well, and I hope to talk to you soon.